Now the Chiefs offense in gear, looking for more. Here's Delina off the spin and a bounce shot and a goal. Paul Delina, all 260 pounds of him, with a nifty move.
Here's Carter now on the move, drops it off to the trailer. This is Barney. Barney to Bernsey. Bernsey to Delina. Look at this! Spectacular! Ian Kirby finishes it. It was a show.
It was, right?
It was a show. It was a show.
Do you think at Massapequa they're upset that the season's over?
Yeah.
I do too.
They want to go for their 18th in a row. Who else is out there?
You know,
is Duke available?
I know, Jimmy.
No,
they are. No, it's fine. They, you know, just when you think you've seen all their personnel, they show up with another guy. It's amazing how good they are.
Yeah, listen,
they are scoring. Oh my God!
11 different guys scored in the championship. It got a chance to get some guys in there. I mean, you know, everybody saw the field in the state final. That's really, really nice for Tim Radomski. Listen, I know there are the people out there who are like, oh man, what a rout in the state final. That's terrible. But you know what? They'll take it because what it turned into was a celebration for Massapequa.
Yeah.
You know, the historical ramifications, the first ever. We've gone on and on about this, the town of Massapequa, how important athletics is to them.
Yeah.
And especially lacrosse, and for all these guys who grew up as friends and puppies and have sat in their rooms as they said, 6th graders and 7th graders and 8th graders and watched all the teams from Manhasset and Garden City and West Islip and Ward Melville and all these teams just win these championships, Shoreham, Wading River. Can that be us someday? It finally was.
Sure was. I wonder if all the lacrosse guys the next day, I think they played the baseball championships at Dowling College.
Wow.
I wonder Massapequa's
This
baseball
close,
team got that close to ringing the bell twice for lacrosse and baseball. West Islip beat them. They beat them by a run. So I mean, what a spring, what a school year it was athletically for Massapequa. It was a great year. You know, when you play a championship game, and you and I. There's nothing worse as guys that love competition and just, you know, look, I'm not going to lie to you. When they play a team from Albany or play a team from Syracuse, I want our guys to win.
Absolutely.
You know, now when they're playing the Long Island Champ, I don't care. I just want to see a good game. We saw a great Long Island Championship.
Very good.
When you see running time, in a second year in a row, we've seen running time now in the A semifinals and championship, because a year ago, Ward Melville was playing running time. What we saw Wednesday night when they took on Niskayuna, I mean, this Niskayuna team had one loss the entire year against the number 2 team in this poll, Darien.
It's Niski.
And this is a Niskayuna team that had their hearts ripped from them a year ago by Garden City in the B state final. They banged up to A this year. Jimmy, it was unbelievable what we were watching. It was goal after goal after goal after goal. I mean, they had no answer for like Delina. Delina was just taking 250, 60 pounds, just running through those guys.
And for all those naysayers, and I'm sure there are going to be a few, who are going to be like, oh, it was a down year. Of course, Massapequa won. Okay, first and foremost, they played an epic game against Smithtown East in the Long Island Championship. 5-5, 8-all, right? And that being said, please don't tell me down year when your state title run includes a victory over Niskayuna, okay, and Fayetteville Manlius, okay, they won their first section title in 21 years, okay. They beat West Genesee in that section championship, and then that same Fayetteville Manlius team beat an unbelievable Fairport team in overtime to get here. So they went through who they had to go through.
You know who gets...
Am I angry?
No, you're excited. You know who just doesn't get the notoriety he deserves on Massapequa? No, he's
too much.
Phil Brady.
Yes.
He, number 16, is
my gosh.
very good.
He delivers the goods.
He does. And, you know, you can go back to the Long Island Championship when Gerard Aseri won 20 of the 28. He had to work like he never has before for every one of those 20. There was nothing easy. And Brady just took over in the semis and the championship. So I wanted to get that out there, and you're going to hear guys talk about it later too.
And we chronicled the fact that Joey DeMarco, who left Massapequa last year, went to Syracuse, came back 2 weeks ago,
That was a nice story.
And went to work with Brady day after day after day to get him ready for the run for the Roses. So that's a chief, man. DeMarco coming back. And Brady was stellar, Mike. He was stellar.
They hung on against Smithtown East to win the Long Island Championship 13-12.
The sea parted.
Then they could take a breath, and that was not good news for the Cats out of Section 2, Niskayuna. We're going to pick it up, tied at 1. Paulie Delina to Carter Hawthorne. Man, Carter was really, really good. That gave the Chiefs a 2-1 lead. Ian Kirby then going to do his thing. He reminds me a little bit of Peter Lindley from Darien High School.
The number 6 plays a little reckless. He got that wicked shot. And then look at this, going to the cage strong. That was Nick Yavoli, the junior from Yale. He closed like a thoroughbred, too.
He sure did. And there's...
oh, boy, the big cat.
Delina.
Well, he's spinning into the paint.
And then Burge to Hawthorne again. Hawthorne, 3 goals and 4 assists as Massapequa wins a state semifinal game 23-9. A semi against a 1-loss team. So you kind of had an idea that, you know, these guys were feeling pretty good and it was right there for them to take.
Well, what you said, if you said to yourself, they just won the state semifinals by 14 goals, there's no way they'll win the state final by 14 goals. If you said that to yourself, you were wrong.
Remember I said to you Friday night, I said they're going to put a 16 spot on the board?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, Mr. Lax is even picking the outcomes now.
Mr. Lax, you were the real California Chrome this spring and down the stretch.
And the only mistake I had was that stupid envelope I filled out, which I heard about from some people out there.
Secret ballot.
You know, Burge, I love what Burge does during the national anthem. He kind of stands in front of everybody on the team. I like that. And this Massapequa team, a bunch of really, really good kids, and they spread the wealth. They knew it wasn't just about everybody, and we talked about Brady, how good he was, and so did Burge.
Big key was face off. So Brady did an awesome job. You know, the other team can't score if they don't have the ball, which is a simple concept, but it goes a long way. We had the ball and we made the most of our opportunities. We scrambled a little bit behind, and you know they couldn't cover it. And we moved the ball real well. And if you don't have your heads on a swivel, we can put up a big amount of goals.
I think we just gotta celebrate this win tonight. You know, figure out who we're playing. Our coach will have a great scouting report for us, and we'll get to work these next 2 days, and then hopefully bring the state championship back to Massapequa on Saturday.
So I went down on the field before the game and I talked to Radomski and I said, how was the bus ride over? He goes, yeah, these guys are really relaxed, the whole thing. Most of them had their headsets on, listening to music. And he said he turns around and he sees Burns and he goes, we got it, we're going to be okay. I said, so give me the mindset then. The trip to Hofstra today in comparison to the trip to Hofstra against Smithtown East, he goes, night and day. He goes, you could have heard a pin drop on our trip here for the Long Island Championship. I said, so the Smithtown East had a feel of being on a football bus when you were about to play a mate. He goes, absolutely. So, and I told him, I said, listen, Fresca's on me after the game if you win it.
Yeah.
So, and we actually
texting me about Frescas.
I know, I actually tried to find some, and you did too, some Fresca. I wanted to give him a Fresca before the game.
They were in the refrigerated house strip, but there was a lock on it.
Yeah, I know.
I was going to break the lock, and if I got in trouble, I'd be like, they're for Radomski.
Hey, buddy, you could take this defense and the goalie for Massapequa, and if Massapequa has a Columbus Day parade next year,
yes.
I mean, it's like the Italian Pride Squad.
They're the 4 sons of Italy: Valdini, Capuana, Caracappa, and who am I forgetting? And of course, Balzano.
Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. Those guys, they get overrated, they get overlooked because the offense scores so many points. Yeah. But they bring a toughness.
Let me tell you something. Fayetteville Manlius had 2 goals on the board pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. They ended the game with 2.
They did. Yeah. They a bunch of first football guys too, which is great. So listen, you know that now they go on and they take on Fayetteville Manlius, and for a couple of seconds, as you mentioned, it was close, and then it wasn't.
I mean, it just turned into a celebration. Game's tied at 1. Paulie Delina, 1-2 for the Marist Bounders. So they're. And then Ryan Tierney elevated his game immensely in his sophomore season. No surprise there, though. He was awesome. Jimmy Burns. Look at the backhander by Burns.
I love Burns.
Oh, man. Come on. And it was 5-2 Massapequa, and this just continued. Now it's Craig Burge. Different guy, same result. His only goal of the game didn't matter for number 11. Matt Valdini. Look at that save right there by Valdini, the senior keeper, heading off to Adelphi. And then Ian Kirby. Kirby would have a natural hat trick in the game, Mike, and it just sort of propelled Massapequa on their way, oozing with confidence. Look out when he rips that low lefty laser. Hey, Timmy Radomski, incoming! Incoming! Woo! It never felt so good. It was a hot day. Tim Radomski and the Chiefs of Massapequa, they came into the game #1. They will leave the game as #1. Let the celebration begin as they deserved. The Massapequa party was on, Matt and Mike, and as I mentioned, I mean, this one resonated, you know, with all the great ones that played at Massapequa that, you know, had always, you know, come up a little short, and that's what it was about for those guys.
During the semifinals, before the game, I stopped over at the Coliseum Deli, and I met Ian Kirby's dad. Terrific guy, great guy. We had a nice little conversation, and boy, he made his son made his daddy proud because he was great in the championship game.
It's great. I mean, I'm speechless, to be honest. Everyone's worked so hard. Everyone came up so big today. It's been such a pleasure to enjoy this ride, and I just didn't want it to end, to be honest. We want to keep fighting. We want to win the last game. Unbelievable. We had great face-offs from the start. The ground balls were awesome. I mean, it looked perfect. Baldini had great saves, great outlooks. We had to put the ball in the net, and we came out victorious.
I mean, I can't even begin to describe. This is a dream come true for me, and I hope all those guys are proud of it. I do it for them. We're all brothers. We all work hard. We hang out together. We all dreamed about it, and it came true. We all state championships, and it's a great feeling. We made history for Massapequa.
7 trips to the LIC the head made without ever winning until this year. And, you know, you talk to Radomski, he mentions the names of the greats, you know, the Ronnie Marinos, the Matty Dashes, the Mike Powers, the Schneiders, the Danahers, the Keiths, you know, the late great Scotty Rose's son, and everything. And it's just, those are the, you know, and all those guys on those teams. Those were the feature players on a lot of teams, but it's all the guys that were grinding it out on those teams that could finally say, hey, Massapequa, we're state champs.
Again, with all that offense scored, Baldini had some huge moments down the stretch.
He did. And listen, I guess that's what you need. You need your goalie to come to life like that, and he was awesome.
And what Massapequa did was they saved face for Long Island. Not only did they get to the championship, they won it. Nobody else from Long Island got there. Lynbrook had a wonderful, wonderful year, but they ran into a terrific Yorktown team. Joe Grassi came out smoking for the Owls in this game, put them up 2-0. It's 2-1 now. Yorktown going to tie it up. Rutgers bound Connor Veracruz, and we were all even at 2. Second quarter, Big Joe, Joey G, doing his thing, turns back and just fires a laser to make it 3-2.
Congratulations, Joe Grassi. He was named an All-American. He deserved it. He had a spectacular season. But Davukai and Yorktown, Mike, they had a date with history. They hadn't won a title in 11 years. And Yorktown was fueled by that, and it showed in their play.
Davukai picked an unbelievable night to have just a special run. He would get 3 in a row. That one put Yorktown up 4-3 in the third quarter. Same score. Just a great individual effort here gives the Huskers out of Section 1 a 2-goal lead.
One of the great lacrosse towns in America, Yorktown, the backhander. Listen, they last won it in 03, but the problem with Yorktown, they hadn't been back since then. So this was the moment in beating Lynbrook they could get back.
You know, right there, Del Benny the pass to Ryan Baker. I don't think he was looking for Baker. Baker just came right down the middle.
Who was he looking for, the candlestick maker?
I don't know. And here's your play of the
or
game.
Or the butcher.
If you're just a sports fan, even if you're a Lynbrook fan, you have to honor what Austin Fusco did there, the steal length of the court to Veracruz.
Well, especially if you're a Syracuse fan, because that's where Austin Fusco is going, Syracuse.
Bonatonobis with the loose ball gives it to Baker. Baker was cooking, top shelf right there. As Yorktown ends Lynbrook's wonderful season, just 2 losses this year for the Owls, so congratulations to them. Yeah. Babylon in the C Championship took on a Bronxville team. Listen, Bronxville ain't like any C team we've seen. They're really good. Nick Santarelli, what an unbelievable year the Army bounder had here, going to Navy bound Ray Wardell, Army Navy. That would tie it at 1. Then Bronxville's Will Duncan going to give the Cats from Section 1 the lead with just an absolute worm burner, 2-1. Second quarter, Henry Grass. He's the junior going to Hopkins. Look at the Ketson finish.
Henry Grass had 15 points in his last 2 games of the season. 15 points.
Transition, Andrew Harwood, the goalie, up to Matty Behrens. Behrens over to Grass. Grass to Crawford. Crawford back to Behrens. They're really, really good. But Babylon was hanging around in this game. This goal would make it a 4-3 Bronxville lead. And then what happens at the end of the third quarter, this is where Bronxville ended it. 3 goals in 19 seconds. Behrens, that's forced right there, going to Yale with the big one. Seconds later, Grass going to get another goal right on the crease. And then moments after that, Crawford Jones wins the faceoff, the Yale bounder, goes to Crawford after he gets it. Wow. And it was just like that.
That is worth another mention, Mike. 3 goals in under 20 seconds in a state semifinal, and they were on their way. And when Michael Crawford, the junior, went downtown, they got the padding that they needed.
Yep. And then Grass, just a spectacular player, great individual effort. He's going up against some dudes right there, getting to the cage. So Bronxville would end Babylon's season 5-6.
No regrets for Babylon.
No, and it's going to be interesting to see Babylon next year across the board. Football, basketball, lacrosse, because they had themselves a spectacular run the last 2 or 3 years, and this group of seniors, one of the best of all time.
I mean, think about those kids growing up together, playing Pop Warner and Pee Wee sports, and all the practices they went to. And when they got to high school, when they walked through the doors of Babylon, you talk about making a difference. You talk about making an impression, leaving a legacy. It is a trail of championships.
Well, unbelievable run by Massapequa this year. Congratulations to them. We'll see if they have any Chiefs on this. Kark will be by next week. We'll tape it on Tuesday. We'll air it on Thursday. The All-Metro team, first, second, and some honorable mention. Very harder to make this team than be named an All-American. And Massapequa, let's face it, doesn't matter what Darien does in their final 2 games, the Chiefs will end up #1 in the Tri-State for the first time ever. Shout out to Coach Lambert from Smithtown East. Go book Bronxville right now for next year. I promise you we'll be there. Congratulations, Massapequa. You're the #1 team and a first ever New York State champ.